You're going to meet with the president.
I am.
So Kid Rock makes it happen. What do you think has been the response so far? What do you think it will be, and why are you doing it? Which I'm totally for, by the way, and I love it.
I get it. Well, I'm doing it because, first of all, it was presented as
a dare.
not a dare. No, just like, maybe this is a beginning to heal America. No, I don't have some sort of complex where I think I can heal America. I can't. Okay, let's get that clear. I'm not going to be healing America. But if two guys who've been at each other for so long, I mean, it's kind of a Nixon to China thing. I have the credentials. There was nobody who was harder on Trump or more prescient about the fact that he wasn't going to leave office voluntarily than I was. I feel like I have the credentials. But they also respect me because I'm honest about the woke train to crazy town.
You know, even when it seems like Bill Maher might be coming around to sanity and leaving the sort of smug, look down your nose, elitist, academic. I was a part of that world, so I know it better than anybody. They all hate us. Trust me. They hate your children. They hate each other. They hate themselves. It is just a vat of hate, and it creates darkness everywhere. He even somehow makes it about himself, comparing himself to Nixon. I have the credentials. Like, it's just absurd. The person who put this all together was really Trump, and Kid Rock facilitated it, but it was Trump because Bill Maher, as much as I can't stand him, again, he's a part of that world, the Sam Harris pseudo-intellectuals. He said some awful things throughout the years about not only Trump, but people who support Trump. This olive branch that is being shown to Bill Maher by Kid Rock, who's really, really good friends with Trump, to me, it's just a sign that, hey, we know you guys are nuts, but we still got to live with you guys, and you're still Americans, you're American citizens. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, if you actually met the guy, instead of listening to CNN and the mass hysteria propagandist media, just maybe you might see what the majority of Americans see, what real down-to-earth, anchored in reality, blue-collar, hardworking Americans who put him in office see. I actually wish most of these people, these Tesla Molotov-throwing nutbags, I wish more Americans had the opportunity to do this. Who knows? Maybe Bill Maher will start a beautiful trend because we are a fractured nation. We are the most divisive, even in some ways more divisive than before the election now. So who knows? Maybe this could be some sort of a momentum builder, a shift. I don't know, because I'm going to share with you, they actually did have dinner. Bill Maher, Kid Rock, and President Trump. And Kid Rock said everybody's minds were blown at the end of it. So it started off like this, where, Trump says he got a call from a very good guy and friend of mine, Kid Rock, asking me whether or not it would be possible for me to meet in the White House with Bill Maher, a man who has been unjustifiably critical of anything or anyone, Trump, which is 100% true. I really didn't like the idea much, and I don't like it much now, but I thought it would be interesting. The problem is, no matter how much he likes your favorite president, me, he will publicly proclaim what a terrible guy I am, right? Very much like the Democrats at my recent address to the joint session of Congress, where he's absolutely right, where I stated correctly that no matter what I said or did, they wouldn't stand, they wouldn't applaud, they wouldn't smile or laugh, and certainly they wouldn't be in any way nice. Who knows? Though maybe I'll be proven wrong. See, I love it. How do you not love this man? He has such a golden heart. Even though you trash him, imprison him, bankrupt him, discredit him, do everything you can to weaponize every agency against him, he still has he is truly a man of God. I'm telling you, providence is at work with this man. We are so lucky to have him. He still is willing to be open and extend a friendly hand. He says, who knows? Maybe I'll be proven wrong. In any event, I'm doing a favor for a friend. I look forward to meeting with Bill Maher, Kid Rock, and I believe even the legendary Dana White will be present. It might be fun or it might not. You will be the first to know. I just think that sets the stage so beautifully. Bill Maher, you don't have credentials. You're not anybody special. He's literally doing a favor to a really, really good friend of him, okay? So don't get off your high horse. This has nothing to do with you. So listen to this. Here is Kid Rock giving the details of what happened. I've got two videos. The first is a clip that's a really short one. And then a second one, he goes even more into detail with Fox Business. Check out this first one.
Tell us what happened from start to finish in 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds, I went on Bill's show. I went on his podcast, and I said, man, you know, nothing happens if people don't break bread together and meet face to face. He's been one of the president's hardest critics, and we came to dinner, me, Bill, Dana White, and it could not have been better. Everyone was so surprised, so pleasant. The most shocking thing to me was, you know, Bill's obviously a very big liberal, been very hard on the president, but he's donated a lot of money to other politicians. You know, you've had Biden, Clinton, Obama, everybody. He had never been to the White House, and the president was so gracious. He took us up to the private residence. We saw the Gettysburg Address in the Lincoln bedroom, and I was like, you've never been here, Bill? And I was like, how about this? President Trump, you know, extending this olive branch, and we talked about things we had in common, you know, ending wokeness, you know, securing the border. You know, the president was asking him what he thought about policy, you know, going on with Iran and Israel and things. It just meant, it blew my mind. It was, right. I was, you know, very, very proud.
Do you think he walked away liking him? Because, you know, Trump is the type of person that you got to meet him to understand it.
100%. Me and Dana both said there's never been that's ever met the president in any scenario that's walked away without saying like, wow, what a great guy. He's so funny, so engaging. He's so smart. And absolutely, Bill even said to me, you know, after that, he goes, wow, that was, you know, everybody's mind was kind of blown. Even the president's, I think, because the president called me late night last night, and, you know, everyone was a little suspect about going into this. And even the president kind of alerted to me a little bit like, what do you got me doing?
Right.
And I go, man, we're just trying to show people that, you know, even though we've been pretty hard on each other, that when you get face to face, maybe we could have a little more civility in this country and try to bring people together.
And notice the dichotomy here. So Kid Rock, a musician, obviously he loves America. I mean, he bleeds America through and through. Supports Trump. Obviously, he has conservative viewpoints, but his idea is, let's hang out, let's talk, let's communicate, let's try to find some kind of common ground. Let's at least come to the table, right? And I'm telling you, that's how I've said this many, many times on my show. That's how I feel too. I always welcome all viewpoints. You guys know this, you OG Nez Nation viewers and members. You know exactly that we always say we want our country. I love our country. I think that we have a byproduct of a mass hysteria propagandist media that has created a zombie-esque, unfounded, misplaced, misguided animosity towards our president and this common sense revolution. And if people could just, you know, vacate that somehow and enlighten themselves to the truth, and that's really the mission of this channel, to make common sense go viral. But look at what the other side is doing. The other side's not extending any hand. The other side isn't saying, come to the table. No. When they see that their slush fund, that their money laundering scheme, that their scams, fraud, and waste and abuse is being threatened, not when the border was being threatened years ago, not when, you know, we're stuck in these forever wars, not when inflation was happening, not these DEI woke policies that have created more damage and harm to this country than we've ever known, not when the defunding the police and rioters and looters were destroying American businesses. No. But now they raise an uproar. Now they fight. Now they shout, fight in the streets, and we're not going to leave. And Elon Musk is this, and Trump is this, all these terrible, awful pejoratives. Why? How come they don't extend the olive branch? Check out this next video of Kid Rock going into even more detail about that encounter. This is awesome. Watch this.
I want to hear about your dinner with the president. What did you, Bill Maher, and Dana White and the president talk about?
You know, it went so well. We talked about a lot of things that we had in common, which Bill Maher is a big, supporter of Trump's stance on the border, of ending wokeism. The president even asked him about policy, like what he thought with Iran getting a nuclear weapon and how Israel should react. Bill's a big supporter of Israel. We broke bread and talked about things we had in common, and it could not have been more cordial, more nice. I think everyone was so pleasantly surprised. I mean, it was so nice to have my friend Dana White there, and Dana goes, he told me, he goes, Bob, you did the right thing here. This was a good thing. Because everyone was a little suspect about it. Even the president had called me a few days ago. He goes, what the hell you got me doing here? And I'm like, we're just trying to break bread with some of our biggest critics and say, like, hey, it's okay to talk to one another. We can maybe bring a little bit of civility back to this country for reasonable people.
How do you maintain a friendship with Bill Maher? Because you're very different on politics, I think.
Yeah, we've 30 years ago when he had his show Politically Incorrect, it was the first TV show I'd really ever done early in my career. And it's not like we stayed best friends through that, but, he's had me on his podcast and on his TV show. And I'm like, man, this is good to go. It's easy for me to go on Fox News. Everyone's so friendly and so nice. We kind of align with our thoughts and ideas. But I kind of like going into the lion's den a little bit and talking to people who differ than me and seeing, where we can connect on things and just try to be a little more civil. I've been one of the most polarizing figures out there. I know that, but I'm like, hey, maybe we can just try to be a little nicer to each other. What the hell?
You're from Detroit, I believe, home of the big three automakers. I got that. What do you make of Trump's tariffs on autos and auto parts coming into the country?
I think it's great. I think we should be making more of these cars in Detroit. I know they make the Ford Raptor there and things, but I know there's other cars that are, we design them in Detroit. It's some of the big three, and then the engines, and they're assembled in Canada or Mexico. And I think it's great for our auto workers, for everybody. Why wouldn't we want? And now the president's talking about giving people a tax break if they buy a car that's actually built in America. This is all great news for Detroit, in my opinion.
Did that come up for discussion last night?
No, we talked about that in the Oval Office a little bit, but no, dinner was awesome. It was weirdly so awesome that just to see, the president and Bill could not have been more engaged and just had such a nice conversation. And then one point I will make is Bill, has obviously been a big supporter of so many, of the left, supporting, Clinton and Kamala and Barack and everyone. And he had never been to the White House. And the president took us up to the private residence, and we were showing Bill the Gettysburg Address in the Lincoln bedroom. And I was like, you've never been here? And Bill was like, no. And I was like, can you believe you're here with President Trump showing you around? And he was like, everybody just knew it was a special, hopefully it's a special moment. It sets an example. I never anticipated on trying to set a positive example in this country for something like this, but the Lord works in mysterious ways, and Pastor Paula prayed over me before I went to the Oval Office, and it was just, man, it was one of the neatest days of my life, I will say.
I think the only mistake that was done is I think it should have been filmed. I think that video would have gone totally viral. Can you just imagine if they would have live streamed it or something like that? Well, maybe not live stream just because, just in case it didn't go well. But I doubt that all the parties involved would have met and acted. You heard Kid Rock say, or Bob or whatever, say that the last thing that Bill Maher wanted to do was sabotage, any kind of mutual respect or the sacredness of the office. But man, I think they should have filmed it, and I would have loved. I bet you Trump, as proven by Kid Rock, was charismatic, funny, hospitable, open, loving, forgiving, friendly, funny as heck. Who knows? Maybe we don't even need video. I love you so much, Mr. President. The American people have spoken, and I just couldn't be more prouder. I think I've said it once, I'll say it again, my fellow Americans, my fellow global citizens. We didn't just dodge a bullet with Kamala. We dodged an atomic missile. I can't wait to get your thoughts on what you think of that exchange. Do you think that Bill Maher? We haven't seen any reaction yet. If there's any kind of reaction, I'll post something about that and give you my commentary. What do you think? Do you think that this could be a cool shift where we see more examples? You heard Kid Rock say, maybe this is an example of things that we can do more of, or do you think this is just a one-time thing, not a big deal? It's not going to really have much impact. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think that Trump should meet more with so-called liberal or left influencers or what have you, that's facilitated by someone or somebody else? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I can't wait to read your comments. Let me know down below. If you love America, tap that thumbs up. If you want to get one of these original Nez Nation designs made in the USA, our shop is in the pinned comment and in the description down below. Go check that out right now. I mean, these would make great gifts too. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you've missed them. Tap my face right there to subscribe and follow. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless the USA. I'll see you soon.